Does Arms Against Tyranny make the achievement 30 Minutes of Hell easier? I think it does, and that's because of the military industrial organizations and the bonuses you can choose. So let's go ahead and try the achievement. So most of this is about the setup, and I'm going to go through and clear out some of these MIOs. Most of them don't matter, so I'm just hitting enter and selecting the traits across the top for speed. They won't come into play until I get to the infantry equipment. And this one, I would say, is the important part. The heavy anti-armor ammunition. I think that the piercing does make a big difference. So we're going to select that one and go with reinforced stocks for the reliability and soft attack. And then improve production efficiency gain. And I'm going to press and hold shift and click to queue up mass rifle production as the next upgrade. And then I might as well go ahead and add drum pattern sights queued up as well by pressing and hold shift. And then this one doesn't matter, and the artillery does. We want the advanced barrel forging because it does have that bonus for towed anti-air. And then down here we want this production efficiency because of the gain to towed anti-air. And if you look at the one to the right of that, it only affects artillery, so I don't care about this side of the tree, but I will take rapid fire since that affects anti-air. So that clears that out. Let's go to the military factories, press and hold enter and just hit delete on everything but the rifles and support equipment. We want to reorder these. I'm going to add towed anti-air with one factory. Make sure to get your MIO in there. And then on the infantry equipment, we need to add the MIO since it's not there by default. And we're just going to do an infinite amount. At our leanest point, we only have 3 factories, but in the meantime, might as well get some extra rifles. So for civilian factories, we're going to do the defend the inner tile technique around Kharkov area. And so this region I'm hovering over is the top region, and it gets attacked quite heavily. So we want 2 forts there, and these 2 on the left get attacked quite a bit too. So let's boost the fortification by 1 in each of those. And then Kharkov itself needs a fort starting out, and I want all those built before we go to war. For national focus, I'm going to start with the castle so I'm not wasting any time. As for the army, I'm going to take all that, dump it into one, hit S twice to split it twice, drop that into another army. That's our 16, select 48, split it. Then we have our 24, 24, 16 setup that everyone uses. For our army group, we're going to use the top field marshal, Edward. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm choosing him because he had he has this old guard trait for max entrenchment +1. I'm going to add to him defensive doctrine and charismatic. As for one of the 24 armies, we are going to look for yes, the commando guy, Zabowski, or Sasobowski. We're going to choose him, and we're going to give him camouflage expert, and we're choosing him for the camouflage expert trait. For the other 24, I'm going to choose this infantry officer, and the 16, we'll take Abraham. They will level up nicely. For research, I'm going to do improved infantry equipment 1. We're going to use the MIO with that because we don't have to worry about political power too much. I'm not going to do the machine gun upgrade because I want that 100% research bonus to go into 1939 rifles, which also means I don't want to choose an artillery upgrade since that research bonus is shared across both. I do want to upgrade my engineer company though, and I'll use my industrial bonus to quickly research, well, not necessarily quickly, but it will be helpful, assembly line production, because this will require us to last about 1.5 years. And then in the meantime, I'm also going to grab improved computing machine for that research bonus. Okay. Need to change around the infantry templates. Need to make a 16 width with engineers. I'm just going to rename that because that's the general name I use. Duplicate that and add support anti-air. Change the name and the icon so it's easier for me to find, and I'm going to make those guys elite so they get priority. Now we'll go back to the army group and we're going to change everything to be that 16 width infantry template. Then select my army of 16 and switch them to be my elite forces. Under recruit and deploy, I'm going to change reinforcements to have priority so I don't forget to do that. And then need to select the chief of army, and I want my infantry expert as well. For industrial concern, I like to take electronics so that research completes faster. And I'm going to grab a military theorist because we have tons of political power. Okay, now need to go to occupied territories and release Ukraine. I'm going to release it as a puppet because I like the slight industrial advantage that having them as puppets gives you. And even though the Soviet Union's going to declare war on them, it's not going to be till a year or so later. So they won't be able to touch us. And yeah, I like those factories. So puppet them. Puppet Belarus. Return territory to Lithuania so that the Soviet invasion is delayed. And we're going to release Czechoslovakia as another puppet. So now that kind of fills in my border around that center tile that I'm protecting. Let's go back to the army. I'm going to choose one of my 24 and I'm going to do a fallback line over these 2 tiles on the left around Katowice. My other 24 will be the 3 by Kharkov, and then the 16 will be a fallback line through all 5 of these territories. You can see there's one tile in the center that's being protected. So with that done, now I'm going to delete my Air Force, and I'm going to use the international market to get a little extra production going. I'm going to add equipment of my tanks, my trucks, and my aircraft. And we're going to sell them all since we won't be using them. Alright. And let's change the market options so we're not getting notifications to auto accept purchases. And now I'm going to play through a little bit to get all my armies moving and make sure that all the equipment's been distributed. And now I'm going to go back into my recruit and deploy, and I'm going to train as many of the top division as I can. That is to store manpower as my country falls apart. So now we just sit here and wait a little bit, And our troops are going to consolidate and entrench. And now that Germany has declared war, we can go ahead and go to total mobilization, limited exports, and switch to service by requirement. That should be plenty of manpower. Let's also grab a war industrialist. Now under construction, we can see some of these didn't complete, but the main one did. That's fine. Now what I'm going to do is add some factories and put them all in Katowice. That way anytime the forts are not building, it's going to be building a factory. I'm also going to add some anti-aircraft in that same region and go ahead and let it play. And now that Britain has invited us to the Allies, I'm going to go ahead and join. And now let's look at our army group. And at the top here, you have little icon, or you have the sort options. And I'm sorting by organization strength, or the product of the two. I just clicked the first one, so it's just organization. And scroll down to the bottom, and we can see how the organization of these units are going. Whenever a unit is in battle, it cannot gain organization. And also, if we look at a battle bubble, we see that there's 3 reserves for us. Those units cannot gain organization either. So that's why here on the left, I'm looking and watching for the organization to drop really low on some units. And once that happens, I'm just going to select a couple of those, and I'm going to give him, or send them off in their own army, give them a field marshal. Maybe it helps with supply consumption. It should. I'm going to grab one of these top supply consumption guys, and I'm going to give them a defensive line right here in the middle, or fallback line. And that way, once they lose their combat, they're going to fall back in the middle, and we can start watching them to see if they've recovered enough to go back into battle. And for the next national focus, I want to prepare for the inevitable. I need those factories. One thing to note in your events and decisions, under war measures, we have desperate defense. It will increase your defense for 45 days. So you have a one-time chance of using that if things get really bad. But if you have to use that once, you're probably to the point where things are not going well for you at all. So back to the army group, kind of monitoring. You can see that there's a lot of units that don't have much organization. I'm going to select them. I'm going to drop them into my center reserve army. And I'm going to organize my center reserve army. You can see that there's 2 that have recovered quite well. I'm going to go ahead and drop them back into my army that is kind of low on troops. Send them back to the front line. Now that we have some army experience, for Spirit of the Command, I want static warfare. And once that builds up some more, we're going to grab elevated engineering corps as well. So I'm just kind of letting it play out fast. I'm looking at the bubbles, making sure they're all green. Occasionally I'll pause. Right now my reserve army has a bunch of fresh troops, so I'm going to do that switch out. I'm just going to grab a lot of these guys. I let them go for quite a while. Gonna drop them in. Sort my reserve army group. And I'm gonna hit S to select the top half, and then just deselect some of the bad ones. I'm gonna drop all those into this guy. I'm gonna half that, split them up some. Just kind of evening them out a little bit, and I'm going to take all my elite units and give them back to my elite fallback line that's around the entire circle. So now that that infantry equipment's done, I can grab the 1939. And you can also start buying infantry equipment when it's on the market. This is extremely helpful as well. And we can go ahead and delete all those divisions that we saved, restore that to the main manpower. If you forget to do that, you find yourself in a challenging position. And I'm also going to go ahead and queue up high-level forts on everything. Move that down. So basically, I want to prioritize forts in the north here, and then my two regions on the left, and then the right. And if everything's being attacked, then give me some anti-air, and then we'll get into the factories. And now that my general has this option available, give him infantry expert as soon as possible. Need a couple more experience points. Now we can grab elevated engineering. So sometimes you have one area that's doing quite terrible. So I'm going to select two divisions that are mostly recovered. I'm going to assign them back to their normal army group and tell them to go to that top tile. And then we'll just continue to let this play out some. And then if you have tiles that are doing quite bad, you can also go into a couple specific units and give them the last stand order to kind of bolster the defense a little bit, instead of giving it to, well, that does give it to the entire army. So you can use last stand occasionally if needed. Now that some of these guys are healed up, this will help quite a bit. Give them to this fallback line on the right, and they should distribute themselves where needed. Oops. So yes, just cycling troops in and out. Make sure not to accidentally delete them, then you'll be in dire straits. I'm going to send some units specifically to the top. That area is not doing too well. Oops. And then also, this top tile on the left is looking pretty bad. So we'll send them over there as well. And things are going okay for the time being. Really need Germany to start pushing into France, take off a little heat. See how our fortifications are doing. There we go. So this will take some pressure off of us. And just keep on cycling out these troops. Let's see. Take my elite units and give them back, and then use the S to easily split. Dump half there. Tell them to all go into that tile that's being attacked and take S. Split it in half. Send it to our other commander. Send half to his group. So now that I have 40 more army experience, let's get prepared defense. That helps out immensely as well. As soon as prepare for the inevitable is completed, we're going to have a huge infusion of weapons. So that will be very helpful. Having an intelligence agency is also helpful. And now I'm going to go down and grab resistance industries and exile industries for those factories. So yeah, you can see that all of a sudden the estimates of battle time just drastically increased with that equipment infusion. And we'll cycle some more troops in between rest and combat. Oops. Give those two back. Sort. And S split. Do half and half. And we'll just let this play through some. Let's look at the market. We can buy equipment. So we're going to buy some equipment. Pause it since some of those numbers are getting low. Wouldn't want to accidentally lose while not paying attention. And we still have 4 factories. Let's see what else we can buy. So, yeah, Arms Against Tyranny with this new market system makes it quite a bit easier to get some equipment when things are looking bad. And as long as you do that and cycle troops, it's not terrible. Although at times it still does get hairy, and now they're trying to break down my fortifications. So let's get some fresh troops out there. Start with these two. Let's reorder, grab my fresh troops, and send a couple to the other guy. Let's look for the ones that need cycled out. Looks like that top one is having the most trouble. So let's find a couple that are ready to go back in and just explicitly send them up there. Now we have research open. This time I want to go for those machine guns. And of course use the MIO to increase the research speed. I'm just kind of checking the Polish sanitation government stuff up here. I don't want to accidentally have a civil war. And we'll just play this through, let it run out some. Oops, forgot about my agent. This is helpful as well. I'm going to put the first one up here in the north in Warsaw, because that gives us good coverage for this top center region that's getting hammered. Let's choose another doctrine for more soft attack. Oh, alright, this guy's ready for an officer corps role. Give him infantry specialist. Okay, we need to specify where some troops go. Kind of let this run for a while without checking it too much, because it is annoying to micromanage, but it works pretty well. And let's see if that even, okay, that evened everything up pretty well. So, at this point, with new infantry equipment, don't really want to switch everything over immediately, because that's going to tank how many guns per day we're making. So, I'm going to start a second one, and then switch this back to single. So we're going to go 2 on infantry equipment 1, and 1 on infantry equipment 2, and just make that infinite in case some more factories come into our control, which they should with Resistance Industries. And then further into 1940, in like a month or two, I'm going to switch more factories over. I just don't want that immediately change over with no weapons being produced. Let's do a anti-air upgrade, and we'll let that play some more. This top region here should always be the problem child, especially with the way they have my armies, with the one army only being in 3 regions and the other one 2. Okay, it's probably time to switch some of these, and I could give my general a new trait. Scavenger is a very good trait to have. Ooh, Lend-Lease, yes, thank you. And now I'm going to grab Spirit of the Academy, Tenacious Defense. So, the longer that France can hold out, the better for us. Because once France is gone, Germany refocuses back over here. I think I'll grab some more anti-aircraft defenses, because I'm feeling pretty good about the number of factories with that national focus having completed. We're just checking. Pause it so that they don't move. You can see things are calming down a little bit. They're doing pretty well right now. Give some of these back. Let's check and see the doctrines for mountaineers. Don't really care about that. Occasional check of events and decisions. Oh, we can take both of these. We'll go ahead and do that. You could also take radio propaganda and import propaganda films, but our war support is doing really well, so no worries. Clear out some notifications. Yep, we'll take free supplies. Let's look at the market, see if we can buy some equipment. Thank you, Sweden. Oops, that is not what I want, but I'll take that one. And having a steady flow from the international market is really helpful. Now that France has capitulated, there's going to be another rush, so I'm going to pause and see. We still have 9 factories. I'm going to buy a bunch of equipment. Okay. Looks like we have another trait, like scavengers. There's our entrenchment specialist. Now we need to hire him, military high command. That's quite helpful. Let's see how our divisions are doing. We'll grab a few more. It's been a while since I've gone through this process. I'm just going to give some of these guys back. And that should solve, yep, that top bubble is looking pretty green now. How are we doing? Okay, so it's been a few months since I got those improved guns. So let's switch one more of these factories over. And research. We want better infantry equipment. Once we get a couple more factories, 3 military. Okay, we're going to do one more on support equipment since we're going to have more factories coming into play real quick, and we can buy so many guns off the international market. Sweet. And we'll improve the AA guns again. Okay, for national focus. We could get this one eventually, but we're going to go through and do the sanitation right, sanitation left, and then all the way down to end that little political power struggle. One thing I forgot that I should have done earlier was grab the elusive gentleman as soon as we got the intelligence agency. I'm going to give this guy a trait just to get that notification off my screen. And then just kind of sit back and relax. Let's see where we're at. So 400,000. It's not that much yet. Things should be heating up here pretty soon though. Mid-1940 gets a little iffy. And the faster Yugoslavia can enter the war or get overran, the better. More research, better machine guns, yes please. probably pause and do the little troop shuffle. And those fresh troops make everything better. So now we're kind of getting into the long wait. With our second agent, we're going to go up here in Bresla, since that gets our left side that's constantly under attack. And then eventually when we upgrade the agency again through the national focuses, we'll go something down here in the south. Although this southern region seems to be the one that's attacked the least. More research. At this point, these take so long that they don't necessarily matter much. Even this one. I'll bank the time for a little bit longer, just to reduce a little bit more time there. Ooh, preferred tactic. We don't have elastic defense yet, so we'll actually, we have some army experience, so let's check out our land doctrine. Blow this out a little bit. Let's see if that unlocked anything else. Oops. Yeah, now we have our elastic defense. There we go. Let that play out a little more. Do the shuffle. Let's see. Okay. Let's check events and decisions real quick. Oh, I can take sideline to left again. We'll do that. So things are looking really good here. More roles and traits. Concealment specialist. This is what we want, especially for this period of time. Let's go ahead and hire him into the Army High Command. What else? Anything good? No. This guy can finally become an infantry expert. Perfect. At this point, I'd say it's probably about time to remove that last factory from Infantry Equipment 1. And that'll be fine. Checking the construction. We have all of our factories back. Increase the anti-air. And we're just going to chase down that left side just to end that mini game. Oops, forgot about that. Not that it really matters too much. Let's research some bazookas. They may or may not be useful. Go ahead and do engineering 3. Yes. Need to go through this. It's been a while. They've been doing really well, but that doesn't give them any time to ever reorg. So we have a lot that are doing quite poorly. Okay, let's see. Preferred tactic, elastic defense. Pretty easy choice. Doing well. Let's grab sideline the right because it's available. No surprise civil wars. Manpower still looks good. See if there's anyone worth grabbing. I'll take the stability, why not? Let's see what our equipment deficit is. Still pretty bad. Let's grab some international market if available. It's like, really, this shouldn't be allowed since we're surrounded, but since we can do it. Yeah, I'd say that having the international market available makes this quite a bit easier than it once was. I could go around and try begging for Lend-Lease. However, I don't really need to, so... Let's see where we're at. 600,000. Got one red. So that's the one. If there's going to be trouble, it's always that one. However, I'm being really lax about rotating troops in and out. So this will immediately fix the issue. And it's just that easy to get everything nice and happy again. Oh, almost forgot about this research. Yeah, might as well go for 1942 machine guns. Oh. This little guy's looking like he's getting kind of close. So let's... Yeah, I could be a little bit more cautious and like save up that research a little bit, but at this point I don't think it's worth the time and effort. For national focuses, I'm just going straight down the sanitation left tree to a new king in the castle. And I will take some Lend-Lease. Preferred tactic. Perfect. More elastic defense. Should do my rotation. It's been a while. I'm gonna even these up a little better this time. go. Oh, that one's still having trouble. Gotta watch that one on the top. Let's double check the build order. I actually want those two flipped, even though at this point they will probably never build, except Yugoslavia when they're attacked. Better do my shuffle. Oops. I'm gonna be a little bit more deliberate where I send these troops. Just because I really hate this top battle up here. Send this guy and this one. And then we'll just throw these guys around like usual. That's better. And at this point, it's starting to become a long waiting game. Okay, so now we can see the Soviet Union is justifying against Ukraine. That is expected. That means we're starting to get closer. We have 750,000. And this is when the Reich's really gonna come down hard on us. So need to be a little bit more diligent with cycling the troops in and out. And you can see when I was going through that, I was really deliberate with sending my elite troops to the two troubled tiles, and then the rest of them I just kind of throw in their army group and let the general decide where to send them. Have enough points for some more. Too bad that doesn't really help us. Yugoslavia, perfect. This should give us a lull in the action. You can see we went from having a ton of German troops on our borders to just having a couple divisions in each surrounding tile. Oh, this doesn't matter too much. We'll go with the democracy support and the bottom option. So here, take this opportunity. I'm going to move my elite units into their own separate, and do the other field marshal, just to make sure they're separated from what I'm going to do with the rest. With the 24 armies. I am, or they should be 24 if they were full of troops. I'm removing their orders, and I'm going to the field marshal level, and I'm drawing a front line around my area, and then I'm going to give him an attack order just so that I can start building a planning bonus with those troops. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and cycle out some of these really poor soldiers. Give them a chance to reorganize. Give this back. Grab a couple of you guys. And yeah, now my crappy infantry will start getting some planning bonuses, and I make sure my elites are through there just to make sure that they're holding that fallback line just in case something happens. As for the next national focus, I'm going to expand Polish intelligence. I want that additional operative. Oh, this is nice. Now we have pretty much a complete law where we can build. This is a great opportunity to get some more forts built up here in the north. Once Yugoslavia falls and the Germans come back, they hit you pretty hard until they start going after the Soviet Union. Let's see how our equipment looks. We actually have a surplus of infantry equipment now, though. I'd say we are sitting very well. So well at this point that I think I might expand the division size of my elites. Let's give this guy a trait though. Does he, oh, scavenger, yes please. So go ahead and edit the elites. Just throw in some more infantry. Save that. Let's see how many artillery we have. Only 40. That's not very much. Let's go to the international market and grab some artillery. And let's go ahead and edit the elites to have some artillery. That extra soft attack won't hurt. And how's Germany doing? Okay, we've caused Germany 1 million casualties, and I feel pretty safe. Alright, now for national focuses. If we come over here, right here, the central defense of Poland gives us a nice infantry equipment cost reduction if we want to build up some infantry equipment. There's some other bonuses in through here. You can get some units, but really at this point the most important items have been gained. Although foreign army support's really good too. The long push home. That one is also good if you decide that you want to expand to get your additional kills to get to 1.8 million. I think I'm going to go with that one. Especially since I have all that infantry equipment in the stockpiles, I can get a little froggy. So I want to build some infrastructure here because I could use some additional resources. Another trait. We'll do guerrilla fighter for the entrenchment speed. And as you can see, we're doing quite well at this point. Forget about this operative. Let's replace the one that was captured. Keep on grabbing the land doctrine as the army experience becomes available. So we're at 1.3 million. Now I'm so relaxed that I'm not even cycling troops out, nor too worried about it. Alright, another operative. At this point, can add one to the south of us. Oops, I hit the wrong thing. There we go. Alright, now we have a bonus. Let's check and see how our organization is going. There, the Soviet Union declared war in Ukraine. That doesn't matter since they won't push into the territory that the Germans have. Sure, let's get rid of these notifications. Let's see. We're at 1.4. Guess I could pick another national focus. This guy, elastic defense. And then just waiting a few more months for more casualties. Should probably put a military factory on artillery. And we'll go to the international market and see what's available. Oh. The one problem with the Soviet Union declaring war on us is now we don't have a trade connection. But that is fine at this point in the game. We're pretty self-sufficient. And that one's getting kind of low. Maybe it's time to put a little more effort in and cycle some troops. Okay. Now I'd expect to see some red bubbles since I've depleted what's actually on my front line. Starting to get some recovered. Should probably give some of these guys back. And I'm going to grab one of those and make sure that he comes down here to the bottom, just because they're a little low. That upgrade will immensely help. And we'll just grab the next one, get rid of the notification. And grab this, get rid of these notifications. And they're really going to push hard until they attack Russia. But we're looking pretty well. We'll cycle some of these troops back, just to make sure that don't get in an iffy situation. Don't want to get too cocky and lose because I'm not paying attention. Oops. Nope. Okay. Let's see where we're at. So, there's 1.9 million casualties, so we've definitely earned the achievement.